Hello, my name is Rebecca DeHority, and I'm a third-year OBGYN resident at University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center. I'll be discussing our study, which looked at the relationship between preterm birth and social deprivation index. I have nothing to disclose. The United States has the highest preterm birth rate amongst developed countries, and preterm birth remains the leading cause of infant mortality. There is substantial geographic variation in preterm birth rates across the United States, and social determinants of health are important contributors to health disparities in the U.S., particularly preterm birth. The contribution of social determinants to the variation in preterm birth remains poorly characterized. This graph represents the trend over time in the preterm birth rate between the years 2007 and 2018, which are the years we will be discussing here. As you can see, there is some optimism regarding the decreasing preterm birth rate through 2014, but since that time the United States has seen an uptrend. The causes of this trend reversal are unclear, but this exemplifies the need for further exploration. Additionally, as you can see based on this map, there is significant geographic variation in preterm birth rates across the United States. This brings us to our objectives. First, we sought to determine the extent to which county-level socioeconomic status explains the geographic variation in preterm birth rate. Our second objective was to determine which socioeconomic factors are most associated with county-level preterm birth rates. The design of the study was a cross-sectional analysis of national birth data from the CDC Wonder Natality Dataset. This was assessed at the county level. This dataset is derived from all birth certificates issued in the United States from the years 2007 through 2018. It includes all births within the U.S. during that time to both residents and non-residents. When analyzing preterm birth, we included both spontaneously and medically indicated preterm birth at less than 37 weeks gestation. Counties with a population of less than 100,000 were excluded from the analysis. The second dataset used is the Social Deprivation Index. The Social Deprivation Index, or SDI, is a validated composite measure of area-level deprivation based on 7 demographic characteristics collected in the American Community Survey, which is a component of census data. The higher the SDI score, the higher the level of socioeconomic deprivation. In the above table, you can see the breakdown of these 7 demographic characteristics. We assess the relationship between preterm birth and social deprivation index using a multiple linear regression analysis. All preterm births were log transformed for normality. We then assess a refined model using selected components of the SDI based on socioeconomic factors that have been shown in previous epidemiologic research to be associated with preterm births. In this study, over 48 million births were analyzed between the years 2007 and 2018. There are more than 4.7 million preterm births. 578 counties were included, and counties with a total population of less than 100,000 were excluded. As you can see in these graphs, there is significant geographic variation for both preterm birth and social deprivation index. Preterm birth rates are shown at the state level in the top graph, and variation in SDI is shown at the county level in the bottom graph. This figure demonstrates a linear regression analysis of SDI score and preterm birth to address our primary aim. The p-value was significant. The higher the SDI score, which indicates a higher level of social deprivation, correlates with a higher preterm birth rate. However, the relationship was not particularly strong, and this model demonstrates that approximately 12% of the preterm birth rate was predicted by SDI alone at the county level. We then conducted a secondary analysis in an effort to refine the SDI to be more predictive of county-level preterm birth rates. We included percent Black, percent of the population below 100% of the federal poverty limit, education level, and single-parent households in this model. These characteristics were selected because they represent factors that have been shown in previous studies to correlate with preterm birth: race, education, income, and social connectivity. In a secondary multiple linear regression analysis, African American race and percent of the population below the federal poverty limit were independently significantly associated with preterm birth rate. The factors in this model were able to predict 32% of the variability in preterm birth rate at the county level. The SDI measure that stood out was percent African American race within the county. This figure is demonstrating that this one component of the SDI was able to predict 28% of the preterm birth risk at the county level. Since African American race was much more strongly correlated with preterm birth than any other component of the SDI score, we completed an exploratory analysis looking at the relationship between preterm birth and SDI score only amongst the African American population. When focused on just this population, SDI score was only able to predict 3% of the county level variability in preterm births. This suggests that socioeconomic factors do not explain the increased risk of preterm birth amongst African American women. The primary conclusions from this study are that SDI explains only a small proportion of the county level variation in preterm birth, although it was significant. Refinement of the SDI improved the association with preterm birth rate, but only marginally so compared to African American race alone. SDI did not explain the variation in preterm birth rates amongst African American women, suggesting that the contribution of other medical or contextual factors such as implicit bias or systemic racism is at play. These are my references. Thank you for listening, and I'm happy to answer any questions. My email is listed on the first slide of the set.